So, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is such an occasion for me. This is the first time I'm doing this broadcast from our dining room at home. We did something very similar on a Saturday night for Valley Youth Theater. They have this upcoming Saturday, their annual fundraiser that could not take place in person because you guys know what is happening, all the situation with COVID and the coronavirus and the social distancing. So, Bob Cooper, who is artistic director of Valley Youth Theater, and Andrea Evans, who happens to be this year's chairwoman of the event, decided to go live and do a live broadcast with 2 Second Media, a company that I'm very fond of and who I know for years now, for many, many days now. And then we decided to do a pre-event to to the upcoming Viral Affair. So this year is going to be called let me see, Viral Affair Athon. So it's going to be from 10 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. I believe it is. I if I have the schedule correctly. So we did something very similar to this on Saturday with Risa Costas, and it was 3 hours of a lot of fun and guests and all this stuff. But I didn't realize how to share it directly on in my own social media platforms. And for all that I know, it could be myself, Gary, my guest, and three other people watching because I don't have the thousands and thousands of followers. I am not Kanye West or his wife, that they just do something and everybody's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" So it's like I'm not the Kardashians, but I am a lover of our community and incredibly grateful for what the community brings to the table with people like Bob Cooper, Andrea Evans, Risa Costis, my husband. So we did something very similar like to this, and I realized, you know what? I need to talk to my community, and I'm going to use the platform that I have to bring people that either I am incredibly honored to know or people that I'm introduced to. So you can nominate that person that you want to for me to interview it or for the people to know, for the public to know. um, it's very difficult these days for me. As you guys know, I went through a hell of a time about what, March 15th. That's when I was diagnosed. So for me, it was very, very difficult, and I'm in process of recovery. I feel much better. Thank you for all your notes and your texts. You're sending me texts and notes. So you guys see where I'm broadcasting from. This is it. I'm going to show you. That's our living room. Right there. That's our living room. In the dining room. We put all these what seems to be wallpaper. That's gift wrap that Gary purchased at Target, and it looks like a studio. So these two lights, we purchased this light and this light, that light right there. So there's other lights back there, etc., etc. And this is all done with iPads, my iPhone, a laptop. This is an old TV we had in the garage. So I don't know how we put it together. I am not a TV producer like Carrie Pena. She was the one who told me what was the platform that I could use, and then I click here and there. So you guys know I watch very little TV. I just work out, read a lot. I'm reading Mondays and Fridays online for Southwest Shakespeare Company that I'm a new board member. So I'm reading online um, Mondays and Fridays at noon. Mondays in English and Fridays in Spanish. I'm reading Love in the Time of Cholera, one of my favorite books by one of my favorite authors in Colombia or South America, prize novel Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Anyway, that's a lot of information, but the reason that I'm here with you is because I want to highlight people that I feel honored to know and people that use um, their platforms to make us all better and through creativity. So I have an incredible guest tonight. I just talked to Gary because who else do you talk to? My God, we celebrated 6 years legally on Monday, our anniversary, 6 years together of our wedding in Coronado, that everybody knows about, or I think everyone knows, and 13 years together. So happy anniversary, husband. So he was the one who told me we actually talk about a few people, and then we talked about one person that is just incredible. I happened to work with her years past in one of her many ventures in Tucson. Um, and then we made a friendship like I would say no other. We love her dearly. Is our special guest. So let's see who is our special guest. Let's do a quick introduction about our guest, and then we're going to get to know a little bit more about her. So her name is Paula Taylor. And then I have her bio right here in front of me. I'm requesting guests to submit a bio so I know a little bit more about them. It's very difficult to know uh, um, a lot of each one of us, more so years later, but in life. So then here we go. Paula Taylor is a retail industry and fashion whisperer, a strategic marketing and business development executive. She's an event producer and an author. For over 3 decades, Paula worked at all levels in fashion and business industry. She owned and operated a highly profitable retail boutiques and thriving production company. She is the owner of Tucson Fashion Week, the brand. Paula Taylor clients and work history include iconic brands, startups, small businesses, non-for-profits, and real estate investment companies. Paula positions her clients and work to successfully tackle the challenges of a challenging business landscape with humor and straightforward, proven tactics for success. She's currently the Chief Development Officer for the Arizona Theater Company, the state theater that focused on raising funds and brand positioning, stewarding both donors and the organization. Paula wrote the prominent textbook on fashion show production, How to Produce a Fashion Show from A to Z, which was published by Prentice Hall in 2012. During her years as a college professor, educating many successful retail leaders. So she used that book. That's something that I want to talk to her about because it's a very unique book in the industry of fashion. But Paula lives in Phoenix, and I'm going to give you her website and her Instagram in a few minutes. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Paula Taylor. And that's our guest for today. That's our guest for today. So, welcome to Oscar Talks, Oscar Talk.
Hi.
How about that? How are you,
I'm
Paula?
well. Thank you. What an introduction. Thank you.
Well, I am an awe of people who are able to use their creativity in many ways and combine creativity with the world of administration and the world of economics, let's say. So it's incredibly an honor to have you. I know you for a few years now. You are friends of the house, a family friend, and it's great to have you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here.
So I just want to go through the bio that we just went through. So it is all. Did I make any mistakes? I think you sent me the bio and I
Yeah.
went through it and I just found here little like things here and
Yeah.
there about you.
It's amazing. I've been really blessed to do what I love. And I love a lot of different things. So I've been able to do what I love for 30 years. And so, I often reinvent myself. And I think your introduction sort of showed that.
Yeah, and then that's something that I really through my investigation, let's say, because I needed to dig a little bit deeper about of who Paula is. I found incredible things, including that one that you were a performer. We're gonna go deep into that just a little bit, but not right now. I
Okay.
just so I know that you're very fond of the world of design per se. So you know that I'm an architect, but I used to work in the world of fashion, designing sets, and sometimes I mean a turner of my life, let's say, I work in front of the camera and then I work in the back of the camera, producing sets and doing some styling and some other stuff, like constantly reinventing myself.
Yeah.
But before we go any further, I just want to perhaps let the audience know that they can send us their questions, or they can we can get their opinion by using the chat option on Facebook. I have Facebook opened here. Let me see, so I can see what all of you want to ask Paula. I'm a one-man show, so I'm running front of the house, back of the house, but I can see what you guys are talking about, and they can use the chat option. So also, if you want to send a shout out, you can send it via the chat option as well. And we can even bring you on camera as well. So, Paula, this is, like I told you, this is
Wow.
all about you today. It's all about Paula. So, um, I know that you are very fond of the world of design, like I mentioned earlier. And I've been working since all this happened or all this started um, on a survey with everyone that I have in all my social media portals. So, so I talked to a friend of mine who specializes in surveys, and he said you need at least 1,000 people to give you answers, and then they can tell you um, their age, their profession, if they want to tell their age, of course, we assign with their
We
name.
don't talk
You want
about
to say
that.
that exactly, but they can tell you their age, their profession, and then where are they from, or where do they live. So then I'm going to show you something that I need your help with. Are
Okay.
you up for it?
I am. I'm ready.
Okay. So pay attention because the question itself is very key because it has to do with what we're living today. So look at this.
Okay.
Isn't that fun?
That is fun. I think
So
you know my answer.
do I? Well, I don't know. I mean, everyone has a different perception of what design is, but this is based upon, it was very clear, knowing what we know today, given the current situation with COVID-19. Out
Sure.
of the two spaces, which one do you like? And I'm going to
B.
write that down. A,
No, B.
B. There you go.
Yeah.
B. So the next question is why.
I love the openness, the clean lines. It's more sparse, and I happen to be a minimalist at heart. So it speaks to those things. I still find it warm, but I think it's contemporary in its warmth rather than, the nod to the old world.
So, and that's a good explanation in terms of the reason why. So, I wanted to go a little bit deeper, and is like I said, is knowing what we know today.
Sure.
Okay, so then that's clear. I happen to be today online, as perhaps I'm always are. Every now and then, Gary says that I feed myself with social media. Well, that's what I read my news. That's what I know what is happening with the community. That's what I talk to people. So here we are. So and I read a post by someone that says that New York changed forever and it's not going to be the same.
Right.
So there's something about status quo when it comes to cities, and is that we all change, cities change, and we all progress. So this is not a stop. That was my comment. We don't stop. We're going to go to a different level, and we're going to go to a different city, or we're going to go to a new place. So the city that we know today, the places that we know today, we're going to go through a little bit of a change, but we'll continue on, which is very similar to what you're saying by choosing B. So great. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
But one more thing, I think this
Yep.
idea of intimacy has
Mhm.
to be redefined. And so, how does space address that when now this idea of intimacy, even though we're apart from each other, right? The tables might have to be a little further apart, the chairs may have to be a little further apart, even post COVID for safety. How do we still create intimacy? And I think that is a design challenge. I think that's a personal challenge for all of us. And I feel B with the chairs, the way they
Mhm.
wrap around helps to create some sort of singular intimacy. But then I think that can translate to a group intimacy as well, but yet still separated. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Or am I
very
way
much
off
so.
the- Okay.
No, that's fine. As you know, when it comes to the world of design, we all have some sort
Right.
of explanation of where do we come from, why do we like things, and the world of design is like infinite. The infinite. It's like the infinity is where the world of design rests because it's all about the creativity, and that's what I think that I am so fond of you is that you use your creativity not only when it comes to design, but also when it comes to what you're working right now, what you've been working for years, is the ability to create a platform to raise funds, to be responsible for a company, to be responsible for a brand, which you've done incredibly well. And like I said, this is a kudos to you. Like I told you, this is all about you. This is your hour. We're going to talk about Paula. So then, Paula, we're going to be going to our first segment, which I really like because we're going to look into the wonder years. So we want to know about you early on, and we're going to talk about the rocker behind you. Stay tuned. So I'm looking at some pictures that I have collected from you. Sorry, I have to take my glasses off, but I just want to know who are these people right now with guitars and look at that. Isn't that incredible or what? Sorry about the background noise, but isn't that incredible? Who are these people?
That's my band, the BLTs, and we were really prided ourselves on not really knowing how to play. but we certainly had a lot of outfit changes. We were a little three-piece power pop band, a little like a band called the Shags. If anyone wants to look those girls up, you'll understand. We had a great time, and it really came about that all of our husbands or partners at the time were these rock and roll musicians, and they were on tour, and they were always at practice. And so my girlfriends and I thought, well, why do they get to have all the fun? Let's just start a band. And, you know, we had a little stint where we were kind of a pretty popular band in Tucson, Arizona for a while.
May I ask which one is you? I think the one with the red glasses.
That's me. Yep.
Yep, I got it. So I found these pictures and then even a post that says the BLTs dressing up and playing rock stars means those days with my band mates. Carrie Kulo and Diana, I'm 29, way past my prime. You're never past your prime.
Well, we used to have a little song, and I said, my friends have kids and I don't have any.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, I'm really bummed. I'm 29, I'm past my prime. And now if I sang that song now, we won't even talk about the age.
God, shout out to your friends and shout out to your mom and dad, right?
Yes. Aren't they
So
cute?
they are very cute. Beautiful picture. When is this picture taken? Do you remember?
Well, I don't because I wasn't born yet. I think it was either right after they got married in Boston, Massachusetts. And I remember my mom telling me this story that she was very excited because she got that dress at Kmart. And look how stylish Kmart was back then, right?
Tell me about it. It looks like Jackie O.
I know, but that's my mom, a classic beauty, could pull off anything and make it look like $1,000.
So tell me, so I understand your parents are from Lebanon, right?
So my parents are second generation. So their parents were born in Lebanon. Both my parents were born in the States. Mom is French Canadian Lebanese, and dad was born in Boston.
Oh, okay. So then you still have some we were talking about that. You want to cook some Lebanese food, and I just love dolmas and tahini and oh God,
I'm
kibbeh.
100% Lebanese, and we have lots of families still in Lebanon, many of them in Canada. But yes, we're a big Lebanese family.
So and I know Lebanese families are really big, and I'm so sorry for what happened in Lebanon. We are all trying to help at a distance, given the current circumstances. I know it's very difficult, but I just wanted to take a quick break and talk about it because my friend Micheline Etkin, who we had on Saturday, she actually did a call to action and actually asking for help for people to please donate to the Lebanese community because they're going through a tough one, very difficult one. I know. So I just put this picture as part of the introduction because I just love what is happening here is the wonderful years. Who is in this picture?
So the one who's pouting is me in the yellow, in the yellow, my favorite color, and my big sister Genevieve, and then my mom Florence.
And this is back in Boston.
Yeah, I think this is either Boston or Michigan. I'm not sure, but Mom said I came out of the womb screaming and I never stopped. So I had a little bit of a personality combo back then.
I have to tell you that, darling, we know you still do. So that's a little bit more about you, but I just want to talk to you about. Let me see if I can find it here quickly of something that we both were participant of. So let's go back to quickly this particular part of your life. I'm very curious about the book, and then the book about how to produce a fashion show from A to Z. And this is not all about fashion because we're going to dig into other things. But tell me about where all this started. How did you end up writing a book like this?
I was teaching college at the Art Institute, and one of the courses I was teaching, two courses at the time, entrepreneurship and fashion show production. And there was one book in the market, and I had at the time been producing fashion shows. And I got the book that was on the market. It was a very lovely text, very academic heavy. But I was like, I'm not sure these people have ever produced a fashion show. So I called Prentice Hall and I said, do you have anything else in the lot, that I can order? I'm a professor. And they said, no, Mrs. Taylor, what do you do in addition to teaching? I said, oh, I produce fashion shows. And they said, well, why don't you consider writing the book? And literally, they said, can you send us a couple paragraphs of what you would do? And I did, and I got the deal. And I wrote the book, and it was pretty challenging. We also had a whole video series with it. We met with professionals, with Terry Richardson, the photographer, and people all over the country that were industry pros. And it was a really wonderful experience. I wanted it to be an actual manual on how to. Not theory, but practical application.
And I know you put that in practice because I was,
Yeah.
so that became what we all know of as Tucson Fashion Week.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful production. You purchased the brand. When was that purchase? When would you purchase the brand? This is you. Actually, that's what I put speaker, because I know you also taught with AI, and then you've been very involved within the world of fashion since you were in New York and came back here, Los Angeles. So you are very like, fashion is a passion for you, right?
It really is. And I've been lucky to work at so many levels of the fashion industry. So the retail, the merchandising, the branding, and then also the development, the actual, bringing a concept to fundraise for private raising of funds. I bought Tucson Fashion Week in 2013. Oh boy, gosh, I'm not quite sure. I think it was 13 or 14. And I then quickly brought on a partner, my dear friend, Melanie Sutton. And we, our first Tucson Fashion Week out the bat, we brought Betsy Johnson. We partnered with the University of Arizona, and we took it to a whole nother level, and it was amazing.
I was one of your hosts for
Yes, you
one
were.
of the years, and it was just incredible. I'm trying to find that particular year when I was your host.
Was it
That was
15, 16, 15, I think.
15.
Yeah.
15 was when you did it, the cathedral,
Scottish Rite. Yeah.
the Scottish
You were
Rite
our host.
Cathedral.
You were fantastic. We
Oh
loved
God,
Yeah.
it
We
was an
loved
honor for me. Imagine you and fashion. You know that I love my design, my architecture, but I love fashion, and because I think it's an art. It's a way to speak about art, wearable art, or a way to send a
Yeah.
message. Let's say, to
Well,
tell people who you are.
it reminds me in some ways of the theater now too, because it's this temporary art, right? We have
Right.
the moment and then it's gone. The live part of it's gone. Yeah, there's recordings, and sure, you can go visit that, but you can't replace the magic and the moment of the actual performance. And I see runway shows and presentations of fashion as performance. And it is just a canvas that we get to build upon. And I certainly loved those days. We still, Melanie and we own Tucson Fashion Week, and we are dreaming and talking about a way in which to bring it back that makes sense. And so when we're ready, and if the world is ready for it again, we will bring it back.
So I want to know if, let me see if we can play just a snippet of what you were saying back then when. Let me see if YouTube allows me to play that. Let me see. Can you listen to this? Let me see. Can you hear me? Can you hear this?
I
I
can't.
don't, I don't think we were. Let me see. Oh, I know the reason why.
Wow.
Because
And we put a little national spotlight on it. So we brought
let's listen to it again.
We
Let's
took
see.
over Tucson Fashion Week about 3 years ago and took it from an incredibly wonderful, small local event, and we put a little national spotlight on it. So we brought national talent from around the world. We started with Betsy Johnson 3 years ago and have incredible talent this year.
The show is called Beautiful Chaos. I like to work, I use recycled magazine scraps, fashion magazines mostly, and I kind of use all the raw edges and the pictures and the text.
Be the
Anything I can bring to the table.
Fight HIV
and try
and
to
AIDS.
make a new
Dine out.
image out of it.
Dine out.
So you dine out.
Isn't that amazing? Let me see if I can do this. Isn't that incredible
That
that
was
you
fun.
were
Thanks for that
able to
flashback.
produce that? This is Tucson, which is perhaps, I would say, a place that you will not expect to see a fashion show to the level that we all witness.
Yeah, and you were part of, you helped bring it to that level too. I think that's what Melanie and I, we always said, we're going to do something more than just a runway show. We had 3 days of artistic experiences, and sometimes it was food, sometimes it was painting. It was always fashion. That was always part of it, clothing and presentation. But the goal was to always be in a different location, always have a different angle of how we were going to do it. So it wasn't just in one spot.
Tonight here at the
Alexander McQueen.
Let me see. There you are. Everything 1 second. Oh, we have issues here. There we go. There's something happening in the background, but what I wanted to say is that this particular evening, where I am hosting the
Yes,
event,
you are. There you are.
it was incredible. The environment, the put in place, the designer. This is Mr. Turk. I think that was
Yeah,
Esteban,
that's
right?
48, and then Esteban. Oh, so many different designers, and you were fantastic. Yeah, Mr. Turk, God love him. Jonathan was there for us, and he's now not with us any longer. Weren't we lucky to have him? And then, all the local designers. So our goal was always to bring a national designer so that they would help elevate our local designers, so we could get the crowds to see this beautiful local talent.
Yeah. And I understand exactly what you guys were trying to do when you contacted me, because I know that we always long to go to New York, to go to Paris, or even to San Diego, or even to Los Angeles. Everyone sees fashion, fashion, fashion all the time. The world of fashion is not easy, but is more the ability to produce something to that level locally. And hats off to you and
Thank
Melanie.
you.
You guys produce an incredible
you.
show, and for the rest of my life, I just like, oh my God, I remember Tucson Fashion Week. That was so much fun. I
It
mean,
was. We had a good time.
we had an amazing time. So know how difficult it is to put something like this together in a town where people don't understand the implications of all this.
It was. I mean, we just scraped two little women, and we scraped our way to success with that. And but we had such support from the community, and we had such. I had this joke with my team. I'd say, "Hey, come work for me. I pay very little. You'll work really long hours, but I'll feed you." That was like it. You'll get lots of food. And, but here's the thing. We never asked any of our staff to do anything we weren't doing ourselves. And 12, 14, 16-hour days, Melanie and I would, I love her so much. I hope she's watching. I asked her to tune in. I don't know if she was able to, but we'd go at it. And then the next day back to we'd joke. We were married, we were married for 4 years.
So this is great, because you found a partner, and in business, you need to have a partner.
Yeah.
I know there are people watching, and I know there's some questions, but we're going to go through the questions little by little.
Okay.
This is, gosh, there's a lot of questions here. So I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to go through all of it. That's great, because tonight is about you, and is about a conversation that I wanted to have with someone who, like I said, blends the two levels of creativity and administration and finances together. Is not easy to find that kind of person, and you are a chameleon. You've done a lot of stuff. So I know people can follow you on Instagram, and I'm just going to place the Instagram down here so everybody knows. Tell us once again, what is your Instagram?
At P Taylor LLC.
There you go. So P Taylor LLC. So we are going to go quickly to I wanted to know about your day to day. So a day in the life.
So now
So that's a day in the life, and that's what I wanted to know. I love the fact that we all look for a our days beginning to end. Most of us have a routine. So I want to hear a little bit more about your routine.
Well, to the dismay of most of my colleagues who work with me, except for Jerry Wright, because she will be up as early as I am, I'm an early bird.
So
I do.
let's just clarify who is Jerry Wright.
Oh, she's our managing director at Arizona Theater Company. She joined us in January, and she is my early morning pal. I will say that. She'll be sending me an email at 5 a.m., and I'll be responding. But I am an early bird, so I tend to get up at about 4:30 and either do yoga out now. I'll do yoga in my backyard. I'll go for a walk, or I'll do one of my strange little fitness things I've concocted myself. Take my little health drink, and create my to-do list. Then I sit with my cup of tea. And I have to have, I'm a tea drinker. I think that's the Canadian part in me and my family, but I grew up drinking tea. I'm not a coffee drinker. So the whole ritual, I don't microwave it. I boil my water. I have to steep my tea. There's a whole ritual for me around my tea. And everything seems okay if I can sit for a few minutes with my cup of tea. And then now I'm working from home for Arizona Theater Company. So I usually, try to get a little handle on the day earlier than most. And our Zoom meetings start at about 8:39 and it's off and running. I try to get up and move a little bit. It's hard not having an office to go to and not being around people. I would say that's the biggest challenge. I do what I do. I've always done what I've done because I love people. That's where I shine. I love to connect. And I think that's part of why, the Arizona Theater Company was kind enough to bring me in as, it was started as a development director and now the chief development officer. But, connection is what I miss. That would be the biggest challenge right now.
Yeah, and I know that you are, as a chief development director for Arizona Theater Company, the prime or number one theater that it belongs to the state that is looking forward to extend itself, have a bigger presence in Phoenix, having you and most of the team here, actually big part of the team here. I know that it's been, how do I say this, an honor for all of us to see the progression of all this. And shout out to my husband Gary, who's upstairs, hopefully watching all this craziness that I decided to do. That he's part of the board,
Our
but
new board member.
he's a new board member, and I can see him that he's like, let's get it done. And I trust me. I am confident that he is going to take upon his responsibilities with Char Agustin as the head of the board to a new level. But out of all the stuff that I was doing a little bit of research about Arizona Theater Company, and knowing that we are not able to be present to see the performances, I have seen how Sean Daniels is taking big strides to get us connected with the theater and keep our spirits high and understand that this is not going to last forever. So I want to play something that I found online that is going to make us stir up. So this is Ben, pronounce it for me. Schurers. We'll ask.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
John.
We'll ask Sean when he gets in, because I sent him a text, which, by the way, he never replied.
Sean
Anyway,
Daniels.
I have to talk to that man. Anyway, so we're gonna play this because I just want
From
you
the
to.
line. It's from the line. Yeah.
It's from the line. Is
Yeah.
simply spectacular. It is beautiful. So let me see if I can do it because this is a one man show. So let me see if we can get the sound and everything just to listen to this. Oh, and then of course, let me see.
In Arizona, this is songwriter playwright Benjamin Scheuer. I was
There we
so
go.
sorry to hear that your
Oh, what's happening, Sean? Let me see.
season of theater was canceled this year. Of course, it was the right thing to do with the coronavirus. We all want to stay safe. And so instead of enjoying art and making art in public, we're going to have to stay home. And so I thought I would make something for you to enjoy at home. This is a song that I wrote from a show called The Lion. It's called Weather the Storm, and it's about how even when things get tough, we'll make it through. Gather round, children, come here to my side, and sit by the fire where it's warm. I'll tell you something was once told to me about the way that we weather the storm. It's not how long the rain falls, or how hard the wind blows, or how deep is the snow in the road, nor the balance we fake when we feel the ground shake, that we think that our world will explode. It's the help that we give, it's the love that we live, it's our pride and the friendships we form. It's the courage we show, facing things we don't know, it's the way that we weather the storm. If you try to stand tall, but you slip and you fall, in the earth is the sound of the stars. Truth gets revealed when you're broken and healed. Every heart is made stronger by scars. It's not how long the rain falls, or how hard the wind blows, or how deep is the snow in the road, or the balance we fake when we feel the ground shake, and we think that our world will explode. It's the help that we give, it's the love that we live, it's our pride and the friendships we form. It's the courage we show, facing things we don't know, it's the way that we weather the storm. So go on your journeys, be bold and be brave, be lions, my friends, be strong. And when it is such that it all feels too much, then remember the words to this song. It's not how long the rain falls, or how hard the wind blows, or how deep is the snow in the road, nor the balance we fake when we feel the ground shake, and we think that our world will explode. It's the help that we give, it's the love that we live, it's our pride and the friendships we form. It's the courage we show, facing things we don't know, it's the way that we weather the storm. It's the way that we weather the storm. Be well, my friends. We are Arizona Theater Company.
I'm
good.
telling you, was bawling when I heard that because it touches you to many deep, like all these little nerves inside your body. So thank you.
Oh, he did. You know, that was right when COVID happened, and we came out with a campaign that we are Arizona Theater Company. And, you know, Sean reached out to so many artists who've worked with us or loved us or know Sean. And they, and all of us and our team, we all got together and expressed who we are, and that, you know, our community is vast, that we all are Arizona Theater Company. And without each of us, we couldn't exist. And it really helped us get through that beginning part of COVID while we figured out the pivot, and to go digital and to keep us connected with our community and beyond. And we're continuing to do that, right? Like all of us are in the arts community, in the nonprofit world, and in everyday life. How do we do this now? How do we stay strong, stay healthy as an organization, as a family, without being able to do what we do normally.
So you just mentioned something that through the planning of how I want to address this hour of chat
Sure.
with someone like you, very, very important. And I want you to think, perhaps, I didn't send you this, sorry, but I want you to think perhaps if you can give me, after this quick break, if you can think of 5 things that you can do, not only to enhance yourself internally, emotionally, but to stay strong in front of what is happening and to embrace technology and embrace what we're going through. That would be great. So we're gonna be right back, but I'm going to show you the reason why. So check this out. I wanted to give a little bit of intro to that moment that we're going through that is so difficult,
Yeah.
COVID-19. So I ask you if you can give me like 5 things that you do daily or you're planning on doing just to keep yourself sane, to uh, address what is happening. So go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. The first thing I do is I set a small goal to learn a new skill, to read something inspiring that might teach me. So a small goal every day. I try to meet a small goal every day. The second thing I do is I move my body, and moving my body helps my mind, quiet my mind. I've never been a great meditator, but I do what I call walking meditation. The third thing I do, I don't know if I do it daily, but I'm trying to do it more and more, is to tell those that I know, to share with everybody I come in contact with something positive about them. So to give a gift to a person daily that I come in contact with, and they don't have to be a friend. And that means the gift of kindness, the gift of a positive thought, just positivity. We are in such a challenging time. So just to try to do that. What am I on, 4? I don't know. I'm like, I think I'm on 4. And then
Yep, you're on
I
4.
I can get a little anxiety ridden. And so to make sure I connect with my family daily, because my family is my North Star, and they ground me and they help remind me what's important in life.
We always go to a grounding rod,
Yeah.
and then for some people
Yeah.
are just work out, for other people it's just go golfing, for some others
Yeah.
it's just go to church. So they always, as humans, we have to have that grounding rod, to that ability to perhaps think that we have the option and the possibility of reconnecting with ourselves, reconnecting either with nature, people who do hiking, people who go on
Yeah.
walks, etc., etc. So that's very important, and perhaps someone out there just heard what you said, and then perhaps they're going to put it in practice, which is basically what we are doing right now, is just exchanging information. So post COVID, I want to talk about no more, no less than what is Arizona Theater Company itself doing during the post COVID craziness, or during the COVID craziness, during and after. So if you can walk us through what Arizona Theater Company is doing, I just can pull some imagery of the things that we have enjoyed from Arizona Theater Company, which is just incredible work that you guys are doing.
Well, I'm thrilled to be part of it. I'm really honored to be part of it. It's a challenging time, but Sean has launched a digital season, in essence. And we had our first digital reading last night, Alma, and we'll continue with a digital season. And what I love personally about the digital season is I really feel like it's this true reflection of Alort Theater. There's a little bit of something for everybody in this digital season. And what I think what we're sharing with people is process. So these aren't finished performances, but this is a real great way to join in the conversation. Relative important topics. Alma was about immigration, but you know what? The next one, Slow Food, is a comedy about two people in a restaurant waiting on their Greek meal, So there are moments of joy. There's moments to hopefully unite our community, to launch conversation and dialogue. And that's what live theater should do, and I'm so thrilled that we were quick out the gate to do this pivot. And then as we move forward, when it's healthy to do so, we'd love to return to live theater at the end of January if we're able to. Jerry has been working on the COVID plan and how to do that in a healthy way. And then we'll move into a more traditional season. But digital won't go away. And in addition, I know Sean has been working diligently on finding unique locations and interesting musical performances to try to incorporate. So we're going to have a reimagined Arizona Theater Company, still doing what we do best, but also expanding that menu and hopefully opening up to a whole new demographic and target market.
So with that in mind, I know that the last time we were out and about, we saw Cabaret. Gary and myself saw Cabaret, and it was an incredible piece of art. It was just, I have to tell you, I was in awe, because to me, this is to the level of production that you see in New York and outside the city. And Arizona Theater Company is bringing all these. So I know that Georgia McBride, I think, is the name of the one that had to go, be paused, right?
We had an opening and a closing the same night in Tucson. It's such a shame. Our hearts were breaking, and it was an amazing night. But sadly, an opening and a closing all at once. And we will be bringing Georgia McBride back when we can. But, the goal is to get back robustly and healthy to live theater. And that's what we're raising money for. I mean, we are really, we're doing it. It's challenging.
It is what it is right now, and I think we just have to go through all these. Like you said, Sean Daniels, who is the artistic director of Arizona Theater Company, like everyone within the world of arts, we're trying to do that famous turn, that famous pivot, and try to find a new center. And I will on the comments and down below in the description of this broadcast, I will have the website for Arizona Theater Company and names and phone numbers and emails so you guys can connect with Paula and can connect with Arizona Theater Company. There are a lot of questions, and I don't know if
should we do
you
a few? Let's do it.
Well, let me just send this to some people to see if they want to join us and come. Let me see, how do we do this?
Who are these people?
Who are these people? Who are these people? You better just show yourself.
Show yourselves, people.
Show yourself, people, because we wanted to know. So let me see. This is a person that I don't know, but Danny says, when did you start in the world of fashion? When was I would assume that is, when did you start working in the world of fashion?
So, I started loving the world of fashion when I was very young, because both my grandmothers were buyers for retail stores. One owned one, the other was a buyer for one. But I started in fashion with my own line of clothing in 1995. And I had my first small boutique in Tucson, Arizona, in downtown Tucson in 1996.
What brought you to Tucson?
Our family moved there when I was 12 from Michigan. My dad suffered from what at the time we thought was arthritis. It's now something else, but we had friends that moved there. And so my parents, we all came to visit, and my parents loved it. We didn't understand it. I mean, we lived near a lake, in Michigan. We didn't know what this was with the cactus. everything. But of course, I grew to love it. I'm a desert girl now, but it took
You're
a
a
little.
desert dweller. That's how we
I,
call ourselves, desert dwellers.
that's
So
right.
I'm going to go one step further of what this person asked is how do you find yourself loving the world of design? Which because it's just like is the world of design and one of those arms is the world of fashion. W-
Sure.
were
Uh,
you a drafter, a painter? Did you create things?
I
How do you
love
find
to
yourself
put
there?
I love to put things outfits together. And at the when I was still working at the botanical gardens and their education program, I decided one day I'm just going to design my own line of clothing without any real skill set. And I went to our family seamstress, Peggy Golden, and I think blurted that out. Yeah, I think I'm going to just launched my own line of clothing like an arrogant young person. And she sort of smiled and snickered and said, "Why don't you come here after work tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, I don't mean to be offensive, Peggy, but I really need to work with a designer." Well, come to find out, Peggy Golden launched the Neiman Marcus suede collection in the 60s. Her first student was Donna Karan. So I trained with Peggy Golden for 2 years, and she helped me launch my first little line of clothing. That's when it started. But I quickly learned that draping and sewing were not. I was okay at it. I wasn't fantastic at it. What I was fantastic at was the styling, the combining, and the business part of the branding. So I sort of learned quickly to shift and move to the other side of that. But I did have my own little line of clothing, and I went store by store in Venice Beach with 62 dresses we did, and I sold them door by door, and we had a little business for a while.
So that's when you really have a passion for something. You
Yeah,
find your way to conquer the fear, conquer
that's
whatever
right.
you have to conquer in order to make it happen. This is so funny because in the office we had something called about find your passion, and then I realized that that's exactly what it is. If you're passionate about something, you find the tools, the methods, the
That's right.
people, the funding, any way that to propel yourself forward towards conquering that passion. So perhaps one of the two last questions that I have is, what do we expect from Paula as it comes the years through all this COVID, and how do you reinvent yourself? What do we expect from you?
Well, I hope that I will be with Arizona Theater Company and help meet our goals and also really grow in the Phoenix community. I'd like to start to build some community here and help make change in the nonprofit and creative worlds here in Phoenix and in Arizona as a whole. So who knows where I'll be, but I'm sitting strong with Arizona Theater Company and hopefully getting us back to live theater, raising all that money.
I mean, I know that you will conquer and you will do an amazing job because I know you as
Thank you.
that kind of person that is strong and that can make a difference wherever you go. Now, perhaps my final question, or perhaps the last thing that I wanted to ask you is, give us a message and send a message to all of the people that are watching right now about what to do in these very crazy moments, during this very, very crazy situation we're all living in.
I would say breathe, smile, laugh, and find joy in day to day, because that's really all we have.
So it is breathe, smile, and be joyful. And this is my alarm that is just like it's my timer is up. It's 9 p.m. I don't want to keep you all night. Tomorrow
Time
we'll
for
have to go.
bed.
I'm for bed. I just had one drink, and then tomorrow
That's
we're
right.
gonna go back to our little Hollywood Square Zoom calls, working from home. But I want to basically round up this conversation by saying thank you
Thank you.
for being Paula, for being an inspiration, for allowing us to talk about you and your life, and for bringing all the sassiness, let's call it. No, actually, all the knowledge behind the world of production, because that's what happens to be fashion, but it's the world of production, in addition to the world of administration and the business woman that is Paula Taylor. Thank you so much. But I just wanted to tell you, thank you. Who is the person that we're going to have next week with us? Once again, I don't know if it's going to be here from our dining room that is now in the studio. Look at this. I have to show you this again because it's really funny. That is our dining room that is just now on studio, but it's really funny. I find it really funny because, like you said, like I said, it's the passion to make this happen. So the person next week is going to be Letitia Fry. Oh, you know Letitia. She's an auctioneer and entertainer in town, or auctioneer. Yeah, action with entertainment. That's how she calls it. But she's also an author, and it happens to be another woman, which is great. I love that. And I have a list of people that will be joining us little by little. And I'm not going to stop the broadcast because I think Wednesday nights, 8 p.m., fun time. I figure out all this, and why not do it? Why not? I just want to talk to my community and see what is happening and find stories like yours. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Call me tomorrow.
I will.
Have a wonderful dinner. Have a wonderful dinner, late dinner because I'm going to eat right now. But thank you so much. So with all these, this is what I can say. That is Oscar Talk. Thank you guys.